Yeah.
All right, what's going on YouTube? This is Marvin Carter with Does It Make Sense? I come to you today with a lesson titled What is Finance? Okay, so people ask, what is finance? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and dig into that definition for you. The definition of finance is the science and art of managing money in order to achieve an appropriate objective. I'll read that one more time. The science and art of managing money in order to achieve an appropriate objective. All right, within its definition, there are two key points that we would like to point out: managing money and appropriate objective. All right, these two terms are important because, like, these are basically, the meat and guts to what finance is, and in order to have a good financial standpoint, if you can understand that. But we're going to go ahead and break down the first term, managing money. All right, so to get an understanding on what that means, we're going to go into the definition of what the word manage means. The definition of manage means to be in charge of, direct, or to handle. To be in charge of, direct, or to handle. All right, so now that we have that definition, we can add that to money. So managing money, that basically just means to be in charge of, direct, or to handle. So you're just handling your own money. You're being responsible. All right, so we're going to go into the definition of appropriate. Appropriate means suitable or proper in the current circumstance. Suitable or proper in the current circumstance. All right, and the next one is objective. A thing aimed at or sought. In simpler terms, your intention. So now that we have the definition of all those words and we can put them all together to create a simpler definition of what finance is. So this is what I came up with. Finance is the science and art of handling funds in order to achieve or fulfill intention. The science and art of handling funds in order to achieve or fulfill intention. That should be a more understandable definition of what finance is. Um, and that right there is it for that finance brief. I'm going to go ahead and give you a few tips on how you can manage your money, on good ways to manage your money. You will want to create a budget, analyze your needs versus your wants, understand your expenses, understand your income as well, consolidate your debt, remove any unnecessary expenses, create an emergency fund, invest for retirement, understand what credit is and how to use it, learn from others, and utilize your resources. I'll say that number 9 is a very powerful tool because if you learn from others, you always want to learn from somebody that's already in the position that you're seeking to be in. Utilizing resources. You always want to utilize your resources because those can help you a lot quicker. Instead of trying to do everything by yourself, you can reach out to people, see what they have to help you boost up. To help you boost up. I'm sorry. Um, Number 1, you want to create a budget. Analyze your needs versus your wants. A lot of people they struggle with this because they rather sway over to the want section instead of what they need. You may want this, but actually you need that. You always have to keep it real with yourself when it comes to finance, because if you're playing around with yourself, then everything will be revealed. But yeah. So number 2, understand your expenses. And that also ties into the needs versus your wants. If you make a certain amount of money, then you should already know your budget and what you're working with. You don't want to go into unnecessary debt. Trying to fulfill your wants. Always stick to your needs first. And if you do incur debt, You want to consolidate that debt and figure out what you have to do to mitigate that debt and bring it to a lower level. Um, Create an emergency fund. I know this isn't like an easy step to do. Like this isn't like the first step that you want to do, because not everybody is in a position to where that they can create an emergency fund right off the bat. So that may take time. I'll be real with you on that. You want to invest for retirement. There are many different sources and ways to invest for retirement. If you work a job, you have a 401k. A federal job, you have TSP, and so on and so on. Or if you're just, you're self-employed by yourself, you want to do some outside investing, you want to do your own research on that. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not going to sit right here and give you advice on something I'm not certified to do. Um, you want to understand your credit. A lot of people fall short because they don't understand what credit is. They just think it's free money, but it's far from free money. It's a lot of variables that goes into credit. Credit utilization, not having any derogatory marks or anything like that on your credit. You have to be smart with your credit, pay on time, pay in full. You always want to pay before the due date and not on the statement date. That's something that I learned, but everything is good. And that looks like I went over everything. This will conclude this lesson. I have more content coming your way. Thank you for tuning in and keep tuning in. I have a lot of special surprises coming, a lot of special guests, coming on to the show. And I thank them for their help. And I just thank everybody for, rocking with me this far. And that's pretty much it. Until next time.